This video shows the scene. This is the ICE field office just west of downtown. According to police, 3 people believed to be in ICE custody were shot, and then the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. That is from the federal government confirming that. According to police sources there, they're saying that shooter was actually in a sniper position on a roof, armed with a rifle nearby. And we are getting some new information from the Secretary of Homeland Security, Noem. We can show you that. This is how it reads. So this is the official statement from ICE. There was a shooting this morning at the Dallas ICE detention facility. Details still emerging, but we can confirm there were multiple injuries. So that word right there obviously gives you the more than one in terms of fatalities. The shooter is deceased, self-inflicted gunshot wound. While we don't know the motive yet, we know that our ICE law enforcement is facing unprecedented violence against them. It must stop, she says. Pray for the victims and their families.
Right now, preliminary information is a possible sniper. We have 3 individuals that are down at this time. We're not sure on their condition. They've been taken to the hospital. We're hearing some reports that the shooter may be down from the Texas Department of Public Safety. The scene's secure. You know, obviously right now, my hearts and prayers are going out to my officers and agents. That's my biggest concern.
The other big story is the traffic around that area in Dallas. I-35 just south of Dallas Love Field, backed up for miles. Much of the interstate and surrounding roads are closed right now because of this deadly shooting investigation. And this story is going to have more layers as ICE field offices, ICE officers have been targets of these types of attacks now for months. So we're monitoring this story as they work to secure the scene to make sure there are no outliers or any other shooters involved.
Today at approximately 6:40 a.m. we received a assist the officer call. We responded to the call, got to the scene, and we later learned that we had 4 individuals that were shot, 2 of them deceased, including the shooter. The DPD quickly was able to locate the shooter who was deceased. We're going to be working this investigation shoulder to shoulder with our federal partners. The FBI is on scene.
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence. It is unfortunately just the most recent example we've seen of targeted violence, to include here in North Texas, where back on July 4th, we saw a coordinated attack carried out against an immigration detention center in Alvarado, Texas. What I can also share with you is that early evidence that we've seen from rounds that were found near the suspected shooter contain messages that are anti-ICE in nature. Again, this is just the most recent example of this type of attack. This will be a whole of government response. There will be no resource not utilized to bring all those individuals who are responsible to bring them to justice and to hold them accountable. No members of law enforcement were hurt during this attack. If any member of the public has information that would help the FBI's investigation, I would ask that you please report that to 1-800-CALL-FBI. Again, any piece of information will be helpful, but this will be an ongoing investigation between us, a number of federal partners, and our local partners, again, to ensure that anyone responsible is held accountable.
Violence is wrong. Politically motivated violence is wrong. It was 2 weeks ago today that we saw a political assassination in Utah that tore the heart out of much of this country. This is the 3rd shooting in Texas directed at ICE or CBP. This must stop. To every politician who is using rhetoric demonizing ICE and demonizing CBP, stop. To every politician demanding that ICE agents be doxxed and calling for people to go after their families, stop. This has very real consequences. Look, in America, we disagree, that's fine, that's the democratic process, but your political opponents are not Nazis. We need to learn to work together without demonizing each other, without attacking each other. And I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of law enforcement. I want to say thank you to the brave men and women of ICE and CBP and everyone who puts their lives on the line to keep us safe. Violence has no place. It is wrong. And we should come together. If we want to have a debate about immigration policies, we can do so in the halls of Congress without demonizing each other, and especially without demonizing the men and women who every day put on a badge and go risk their lives to keep us safe. And we should not be putting language out there that inspires madmen to commit evil crimes. Our prayers are with the men and women of law enforcement, and we ought to come together and have some decency across the political aisle to say this violence is wrong and it needs to stop.
The takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives.
I'm a person who believes very, very strongly in the power of prayer, and that prayer changes things. And so I'm going to ask everyone, please join me in praying for the families of the folks who lost their lives today. Pray for the speedy recovery for those who are hurt and were injured in what happened today. But maybe even more to the point, we're a country and a city that needs prayer. So I'm going to ask you all to join me also in praying for this city, that we can come together at a time like this, and that we can be there for one another the way we always have in times like this, to support one another, help us all get through this very difficult time, not just in our city, but in our country. And that's why I'd ask you to pray for our nation. There's a lot going on right now in our country. A lot of it's confusing. It's a scary time. I've got children. I've got 3 young children. And I'm here to tell you that it is challenging to explain to them what's going on in our country right now. But I said before, and I'll say it again, I believe in the power of prayer to change things. And it can change the hearts of people. It can change this country. It can change this city. So please pray.